Oh man, all these arrows are broken. We can at least scavenge some of them.
Hey, Durtle, what's that? What's with all the arrows? Why did you break them all?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. They kind of came out that way. Oh, hey, you know what? We need to go do a podcast.
This costs so much money.
We'll build them back together. That's okay.
I'll get the duct tape. Dirk.
Durtle.
Dirk.
Durtle. Durtle Podcast.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Dirk and Durtle Podcast, where we give you the inside scoop of the Cry of the Beastlands, Season 2.
Woo.
My name is not Dirk.
And I am Dirk.
And you have come in on a joyous day. The weather's very nice here in the grove of a dead tree in our oversight, and lots of dead bugs all around us. And these little shiny snails are running away right now. But we've got a good program for you, and Dirk, I think we'll have to hurry before our comrades get a little nervous.
Nah, they're okay. We'll give it till the snail reaches the end of the tree.
Okay, I think we got time.
We got plenty.
So on today's episode, we are going to try to talk about breaking the fourth wall with the stupid DM, but we'll get to that here in a moment.
We'll also go over some helpful tips on testing the gods of this so-called place.
And then we will also give you the play of the game.
Oh, I'm kind of excited for that one.
I know, there was actually quite a few good moments in our last episode.
Indeed.
So
I even got crits twice on my perceptions.
I got
That never happens.
quite a few ones. My highest one was a 12.
Oh, I remember that one.
Doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense at all. Did you hit it anyway?
I think I did. I didn't even drop my bow.
Interesting.
These mechanics.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so, what the DM? So, on today's episode, I thought it would be good for us to discuss a very critical issue that other actors of this adventure have been belittling me for. And I talked with the script writers before we even started rehearsing this. I don't think it's a good mechanic in the game to have a character who is aware that there is something beyond where we are. In fact, my character, Durtle, is interesting in that he has very high perceptive skills, almost gets 30s on his perception, but no one believes me when I say that there is a voice in the sky that is telling us what to do. We have to make rolls, and based upon those rolls, it affects our actions within the game. I don't understand why people don't get... What?
Look, it doesn't exist, mate.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
It does exist.
Guys, for those who don't really go into the sessions long, poor old Durtle, he keeps talking into the sky, and we're just worried for him. Well, I'm kind of used to it because he keeps doing it.
I am sane. I made the top 20 goblins list for the most successful goblin. I made number 2.
You jumped for joy when you said your stat was a 16. I don't even know what that means.
I promise you, it means good things. But the only way you can tell this, you see, we go on what's called this virtual platform. There's a whole other reality that has these things called internet and electricity, and it's kind of like if you can take the power of thunder and put it within a little box where you can see the screen of magical pictures.
That sounds really expensive.
Yeah, it is, and you can have good, expensive versions of this box, so you can have really cheap and terrible versions.
Sounds like
of
you
this
can
box.
afford that after 5 years of working, and then they come out with a new one.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how this concept works. But on this console, this is how we communicate with the voice in the sky and how we make our attack rolls, per se. I mean, every time you take an attack, you do need to know it's based off of chance.
I think he needs a shot. He's
don't
rambling
need a
at this
shot.
point. He's rambling.
I swear that's how it is. Actually, DM, you need to come on this show and you need to talk about it.
Here's a banana. All right, so we're going to our next topic. How about that? Let's see. We got, what the arrow?
I can't eat peels.
You know, what the arrow is up with that chest piece with my name on it?
Oh, yes. So, on our last adventure, there was this little chest that was tied to the tree. And inside this chest was a little old, tiny cloth piece that had a wooden circle thing in the middle of it, and it had Dirk's name on it.
I'm very confused.
I don't understand. I didn't see this coming, and again, I talked with the script writers and the producers, and they said they actually didn't give each of the actors a copy of the full script. They said it was going to be a surprise.
I'm just very confused. I don't. It seems familiar, but at the same time, it's not really familiar.
See, I've known Dirk all my life. I mean, we came from the same basket. We've lived in the same place. I mean, literally, they found us when we were 2 weeks old. I don't understand this new story dimension.
What? I mean, how do they know it was 2 weeks? Are we going by goblin?
I'm pretty sure it was 2 weeks old.
Okay.
They said we were the size of half the hand. I'm pretty sure we were young.
We weren't even walking at that point.
I know. So there's a whole new dimension to the whole Dirk thing, and I don't get. It's bothering me. It's telling me you've done things behind my back.
What? No! I've never done such a thing, except for that one time.
I don't know. It's like the old ancient goblin proverb says. You do things without other people seeing, and they just won't know because they didn't see it.
That's about flinging poop in their houses.
Oh, I thought that was something different.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, it's got me worried, and somehow this druid may have known who the heck I was, and that bothers me even more.
What if there's 2 Dirks?
What if there's 2 Dirks? Maybe. That makes sense.
Well, I'm not Dirk.
Wait, no, it doesn't make sense because I recognized it. I wouldn't.
It doesn't make sense. You'd see little paw marks on it, but this one is clearly etched Dirk.
Like I would have bit it or something.
But see, something we did not ask, was it D-I-R-K, D-E-R-K, or D-U-R-K? There's a difference.
Or D-E-I-K-E-X-X-X-X-I-E-X.
There's a lot of
W12
silent letters in that. It's good.
Everything else is silent.
It's gurgling for Dirk.
Dot exclamation point period slash mark underscore at YouTube.
Dot Beastlands. That's a site. Okay,
it's
so
all silent.
We'll have to see what happens with this particular piece of armor. It's unique.
Let's go to the next thing. The main meat and the potatoes of the cold conversation. How to test the gods of the Beastlands.
So, yesterday's campaign, because you're probably going to hear this many days afterwards, I had a discussion with one of the party members as to the nature of terminologies, or monikers, as some people may call them, that characterize a quote-unquote god. We were talking about the god Thor, who's the god of thunder. And he was considered a great god, and he was all-powerful. Well, if he's a great god and not an all-powerful god, well, those 2 terms contradict. Great implies limits. All is limitless. Or is it limited to everything? There is a paradox, and they call this the mythological paradox, but that's a discussion for another time. So in the process of my philosophical dealings, I talked to Dirk, and we had come up with, because we've had plenty of time to discuss this, we talked about 5 things to test the power of your god, to determine whether or not it's actually a legitimate god in the Beastlands.
Wait a second, you said it was for a murder documentary. What the...
What? No. We're not murdering anything.
Okay. Yet. Well, we murdered those schoolies. They're dead.
I don't... Well, yeah, they had it coming.
That one's twitching.
They were messing with the snails.
Die!
Okay, so our top 5 ways to test the gods of the Beastland. Number 5 is...
Find an amulet and break it in their temple.
Okay, so if you really want to test whether or not the gods are listening or not, just go to the house dedicated to him or her or it. Nothing else says, hey, I want to test whether or not you exist. If you go to their place where many are giving their homage, their utmost reverence, and they're in the Zen zone, so to speak, and just decimate it. Make it abominate. Literally, I look.
Go up and punch it.
Yeah, just take that amulet and in the
Bite
eyes
it.
of all the assembly,
Burn it.
just break it and
Curse
then
it.
make sure everybody knows about
Chainsaw
it.
it. What's a chainsaw?
If that said God exists, more than likely they will they'll
Glue
make
it.
themselves known.
Glue it to someone's
Or
butt.
you might be
then
murdered by
burn
the
it.
followers. But that's not an indication that that particular god is real. Claim
duck
is
eat
just a
it.
claim until proven with valid evidence.
Throw eggs at it.
So, number 5 is take the amulet, break it, and see what happens. What is number 4?
Number 4. Only pray to the God when you're defecating.
So I find that typically whenever you give words
Thank you.
of encouragement to ask
thank
for
you so much.
things, whether Thanksgiving or asking for a blessing of sorts, nothing says
I'm so
I
relieved.
am so
Thank you.
reverent towards you, towards doing the most unreverential action while asking for things from said God. Not only does it acknowledge that you're trying to determine whether or
thank you
not
again.
said God actually listening or paying attention, because you might be giving homage to an all-powerful
I
God,
ate?
but they're not an all-omniscient God, which means they're literally everywhere, or omnipresent. Omniscient is knowing all things. They don't know that you're praying. They can't even hear you. But there are some that
I'm
actually
making a post.
can. Yeah, nothing else says I respect you than praying and defecating.
It smells in here.
So
Gonna need to open a window.
we're outside.
I made it. Well, I did make a post.
I don't see any gods around.
So number
here.
3, kill all their followers.
So nothing else says I love you than eliminating all of your following. Especially with devotions. If you've ever seen the classic movie, The Mash of the Mitons, you will find in the second movie of that particular series that one of the gods of, I think they were called the Lycians, someone was killing all their followers, and it turns out if you kill all the followers of a particular god, they disappear for all eternity. So nothing else says that I believe in you than killing all the followers. Now here's a drawback. As soon as you kill them, they no longer exist. So how would you know if you killed a real god anyways?
Dirtle, I don't think that should be an actual reason.
It's called the disappearing divine paradox.
I still don't think killing a whole bunch of people just to prove a God exists is necessary.
Well, okay, so one time I went to this town called Amateur's Luck, and they told me that there was a god that protected this city, and this whole city was trying to worship this particular god. So what I did in the middle of the night, I may have spiked a few of the drinks, if all the drinks.
No.
I didn't do it. I actually paid a kid to do it. So the kid was held to trial for the murder of the entire town.
What is with you and these kids?
I never saw the said god that they worshipped. So Amateur's Luck turned out to be no luck at all.
What happened to the kid?
The kid was actually he died.
From what?
I gave him some water. Turns out I actually gave him his own medicine, which was some of those drinks he messed up.
We are going to be under arrest.
Nope. Actually, I talked to the authorities about it. They said it was all a misunderstanding, and I just went on my way. So, number 2, how to test the gods of the Beastland is...
Leave a slain goat and blood of your enemies and a piece of paper with really good questions, and if they don't respond in 24 hours, they don't exist.
Okay,
Who wrote this?
This is a more legal practice of testing the existence of said gods. So, there is an ancient folklore of a very evil individual where one time out of the year he will leave mischievous gifts to children who are very deserving.
Is it you?
No, it's not me. I'm not a god. I am a possum.
Because apparently children keep dying left and right on your watch.
It's not me. I've not killed any. So what you'll do, you'll leave a piece of paper, a form, where they must answer said form, and they must take it. And if they don't take it, what it does show is their arrogance and their pride, being unwilling to answer said questions. There was actually a piece of paper I left one time with a freshly killed goat, and actually this god had no enemies, so I just found some fresh milk from a cow, put it here, and I had some questions, and turns out he left me a book, and I'm still going through that book. There's a couple of interesting ways that he answers these, but I guess we'll see how this goes. But for the most part, if you leave blood of your enemies, what you will find is you'll be tried, you'll be found guilty, and you'll die.
Then how do you know this is an actual tip?
Well, if people really care about it, you'll actually, that's not proof at all. I don't know where this came from. So what's number one?
Find a temple and pee on it?
Oh, so the number one way to test whether or not a god exists, so it almost sounds like number two, but this one's a little more personal. Go right up to the house of dedication, especially if it's like a holy day per se for them, when everybody's circling it and they're all praising. Just lift your leg and go at it.
Divine whiz!
On the steps. You will find out real fast whether or not this god exists as you completely abominate the house. Place of reverence, and you turn it into a slip and slide.
It's called toilet.
Nope. Toilet is if you do a number two.
Oh my goodness.
So in this particular case, whether or not you do any of these five things, you will truly be able to see whether or not this is a legitimate god of the Beastland. Now, I would say this, if any of our local adventurers are listening to this podcast, try it sometime. See what happens. You'll come to find out that time and chance has a fun way of coming back at you.
So that brings us to the play of the week.
Play of the week. Yes, all this took place in one day, but it's the play of the week from our last adventure. So there were actually a couple of interesting things that occurred in our last campaign.
Like my two nat 20s on my perception.
I know, that made no sense.
It didn't. I was actually kind of happy about that.
And come to find out that you can't persuade your teammates. I don't get that, because sometimes they don't agree with you. You've got to persuade them, but then you don't need to roll to persuade them. You just got to talk to them.
You're going back to the DM thing.
It's real. I'm telling you, it exists.
We gotta do an honorable mention first, because I feel like that's more appropriate.
I think so.
So definitely with Polly coming in, and he's got his dark claws things, but he scratches it for a double critical, which did only 9 damage, but it was still pretty cool to see a double crit.
Actually, it triple critted.
Oh.
Because the damage was only 3.
Oh.
Times 3.
Triple critted.
That's what makes it so good. But that was not the defining moment in the battle against this monster.
Yes. That would be, hands down, to Todier for stunning it while blind!
You know, you think if someone's blind, they would actually have disadvantage on a particular creature, but it's really weird how this worked out. So not only was Todier blind, but the creature was also, in response to said thing, stunned, which was, it's really interesting. Wouldn't you think that being blind still gives you disadvantage regardless whether an enemy's moving or not?
Well, it depends.
On what?
Well, I mean, are they dodging? Are they moving nimbly?
They can't
There's
move.
a lot of variables here.
They can't move.
Are they jumping up really high?
They can't
Did the ground fall underneath them?
No.
Why am I questioning this? I was there.
I'm confused.
I am as well. But still, that stunning made me hit it once with an arrow and flung it back 15 feet.
And I was so powerful, I just had to hit it with an arrow and killed it.
Because I got it with my sword.
I even wiped the brows of my sweat with my other eyebrow.
Yeah, that part I was still confused on. Like, how did you manage to do that?
I have unique muscles.
Indeed.
So, that is our play of the week. Congratulations to Todier. You win a gift card to Salem's Run of 150 gold pieces.
You mean Salmon's Run?
Yes, Salmon's Run. If you can claim your prize before the start of the next campaign.
You have 15 seconds to call us. The number is 888.
How do they call?
888.
I'm the only one who has message. Maybe Polly has it, but I don't think Todier has it. You know what? I'll message him right now. Use this. You know what? I can't unless I'm talking to the voice in the sky.
I'm sorry. His 15 seconds are up. He's lost the gift card.
I guess he lost it.
This stinks.
Better luck next time.
We'll try again next time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all that we have here for the Dirk and Durtle podcast. If you have any questions, you can ask them.
Hopefully, if you message your God, he'll respond in 24 hours.
In one of the top 5 ways that we had prescribed. It's interesting how we get this information.
Indeed.
So, until next time, I'm Durtle.
And I'm Dirk, and that snail is no longer here.
Well, I think we overextended. Look at it.
We did overextend it. Oh well.
Well, maybe next time.